Ever get that feeling like your brain is stuck on repeat, replaying all the things that went wrong?
Yeah.
Like that just one bad comment overshadowing a whole day of good stuff. You are so not alone.
It's like our brains are wired for negativity.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
Well, today we are diving into negativity and how to, not let it win, right?
Exactly.
We're looking at this article from The Affirmationist, Overcoming Negative Thinking, it's called, A Guide to Positive Mindset Shifts. And it's brand new, just published November 13th, 2024.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah, so hot off the press.
Fascinating how our brains just cling to the negative, right? Like it's Velcro for bad vibes.
Totally. But why is that, though?
Turns out there's a reason. There's science behind it. It's called negativity bias. It's like this ancient wiring in our brains, like way back dodging saber-toothed tigers.
Oh, so like caveman brain stuff.
Pretty much. Being super aware of threats kept us alive back then.
So we're running on Stone Age software.
Mm.
But instead of tigers, it's like deadlines and, that weird look your boss gave you.
Yeah, pretty much. Problem is, that old wiring isn't so helpful now. In the modern world, we're bombarded with info, a lot of it negative, and our brains are still on high alert, like threat.
Always on edge. So this negativity bias, how does it show up? Like in our daily lives?
In sneaky ways.
The article talks about catastrophizing.
Oh, yeah. Catastrophizing. It's like your brain takes a tiny mishap, spilled coffee, let's say, and boom, it's a disaster. You're envisioning getting fired, your whole career going down the drain, all from a coffee stink.
It's a mental domino effect.
Exactly.
And then there's mind reading.
Oh, mind reading. Assuming you know what someone's thinking, right? And it's usually negative, even though you have no idea.
Like someone doesn't text back, and instantly you decide they hate you.
So common, right? Our minds jump to these conclusions, don't even consider other possibilities.
And then there's filtering.
Yeah.
Like you're wearing those negativity glasses, only seeing the bad, even when there's good stuff too.
It's like our brains cherry pick the negative.
So are we just seeing the world wrong then?
Not necessarily wrong, more like seeing it through the lens of our past, our experiences, which might not be serving us anymore.
It's not the world that's negative, it's our lens.
Exactly. And that's powerful because we can change the lens, start questioning those automatic negative thoughts.
But before we get to that, I want to know, how much damage are we talking here?
Yes.
It's not just feeling a bit down, right? This negativity stuff, it impacts our lives.
Oh, absolutely. Negativity has a ripple effect. Touches everything. Our growth, relationships, even our health.
Okay, let's break that down. Let's start with personal growth.
Right. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough or I'm going to fail, you're not going to step outside your comfort zone, are you? You're less likely to go for those big goals.
Think about a time you really wanted something. New job, creative project, even just speaking up in a meeting. But that fear held you back. Fear of failure, fear of judgment. That's negativity robbing you.
Exactly. It's like a self-imposed prison. You're limited by those negative beliefs. The article even calls it a fear of failure that stops us from even trying.
And our relationships, how does negativity affect those?
Oh, it can make you misinterpret everything. Someone's words or actions leads to arguments, conflicts.
Because you're assuming the worst.
And you're looking through that negative lens. Yeah, it's easy to jump to conclusions, project your own insecurities. Even a text can be misinterpreted if you're already feeling down.
Your partner forgets to take the trash out, and suddenly it's a relationship crisis.
It's amazing how a tiny thing can become huge drama when negativity is in charge.
All right, so negativity impacts our growth, relationships. What about health?
Well, we think of stress as mental, but it's physical too. When we're dwelling on negative thoughts, our bodies release all these stress hormones, cortisol being a big one, and that messes with everything. Immune system, sleep, you name it.
So it's not just that we feel bad, our bodies actually take a hit.
Exactly. Mental and physical are connected, can't separate them. Thoughts and emotions have a direct impact on our bodies.
Wow. Okay, so negativity, it's sneaky, it gets everywhere, messes with our lives. But good news, right? We don't have to let it win.
Exactly. We have the power to fight back.
We have tools, we have strategies, and that's what makes this deep dive so exciting.
I love your enthusiasm. We are going to unpack those tools in the next part of our deep dive.
Yes. We're going to give you the negativity busting toolkit you need to start living a more fulfilling, joyful life. So stay tuned.
Can't wait. Okay, so ready for that negativity busting toolkit. The good news is we don't have to eliminate negativity completely. It's part of life, right?
I'm human.
Yeah, but we can manage it. It's like, think of it like training a puppy, a rambunctious one.
Okay, I like where this is going. Puppy training for our negative thoughts. I'm in.
So, how do we train that puppy? First, challenge those thoughts. Don't just accept them, put them on trial.
I put them in a hot seat. Love it.
Mm.
But how do we actually do that?
Ask yourself, is there evidence, any real evidence to back this thought up? A lot of the time, you'll find these negative thoughts, they're based on fear, old patterns, not facts.
So like, I'm a failure. Don't just spiral. Push back.
Right. Ask yourself, wait, hold on. When have I succeeded? What are my strengths? Force those negative thoughts to show their work. They usually can't.
Call their bluff. I like it. The article also talks about reframing. What's that all about?
Reframing is like changing your perspective. You take a negative thought, give it a makeover, make it neutral, maybe even positive.
So instead of I always mess up, it's I'm learning, I'll get better with practice.
Yes. You're not perfect, but you're growing. We all make mistakes. That's how we learn.
It's all about progress, not perfection. Now, the article also mentions mindfulness. Seems to be everywhere these days. How does that fit into all this? What does it even look like in practice?
Mindfulness, it's about being present, right here, right now. No judgment. You notice your thoughts and feelings, but you don't get swept away by them.
So you're not ignoring the negative thoughts, you're just observing.
Exactly. You create space.
Oh.
So those thoughts don't have so much power. They're just thoughts, not facts.
Yeah.
You can choose how you react.
Got it. Any quick mindfulness tips, things our listeners can try right now?
Oh, absolutely. Simplest one. Focus on your breath. Few deep breaths. Notice the air going in, going out. It's grounding. It calms the mind.
That's a good one. I also find just tuning into my surroundings helps. Like really noticing the colors, the sounds, it kind of resets my brain.
Perfect examples. Even small moments of mindfulness can make a big difference.
Okay, so we've got challenging, reframing, mindfulness. The article also talks about positive thinking, but not like pretending everything's perfect, right?
No, not at all. It's not about denying reality. It's about approaching life with optimism, hope, even when things are tough. Choosing to focus on the good.
What's fascinating is that positive thinking actually changes our brains. There's real science behind it. Have you heard of neuroplasticity?
Oh, of course. It's the brain's ability to change, adapt. And the cool thing is, the more we think positively, the stronger those pathways in our brain get. The ones for optimism, resilience.
So it's like a mental workout.
Yes. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Positive thoughts become more natural. And remember, dopamine, that feel-good chemical. Positive thinking boosts it. It's like a positive feedback loop. Feeling good makes it easier to think positive, and so on.
So it's not just thinking happy thoughts, it actually creates a positive spiral in our brains and bodies.
Exactly. And when you think about how much negativity can drag us down, affect our growth, our relationships, even our health, it makes sense to cultivate a positive mindset, right?
It's essential for a good life.
Yeah.
This is all great, but how do we actually build that positive outlook? Where do we start?
That's the question, isn't it? And that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. Specific strategies to develop and sustain a positive mindset for the long term.
Okay, so we've talked about how negativity sneaks in, and we've got our toolkit to fight back. But how do we actually build a more positive outlook? Like, not just surviving, but thriving.
Right. It's not just about fighting the bad, it's about cultivating the good.
Exactly. So how do we do that? What's the secret sauce?
Well, the article really emphasizes that it's not a quick fix. It's about making it a way of life, weaving optimism into everything you do, building habits for the long term.
Habits. Got it. Like, what kind of habits? Where do we even start?
One of the most basic but important is self-care. Might sound simple, but it's crucial. Taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. You can't pour from an empty cup. Right.
So true. If you're running on fumes, it's hard to be positive when things get tough. It's like trying to run a marathon with no training. You're going to hit a wall.
Exactly. The article talks about sleep, getting enough sleep. Huge for your well-being and for staying positive.
Makes sense. I know when I'm exhausted, my inner critic goes into overdrive. Everything feels harder.
Right. When you're sleep deprived, your brain just doesn't work as well. More prone to negativity. So, consistent sleep routine, relaxing bedtime ritual, making sure you're getting enough quality sleep, big difference. And of course, healthy food, exercise, all part of the self-care package.
Fueling your brain and body. And the emotional side too, right? Doing things you enjoy that help you de-stress.
Absolutely. Journaling, meditation, being in nature, whatever helps you recharge.
It's like giving yourself a hug from the inside out.
I love that. Now, besides self-care, there's resilience, bouncing back from setbacks. The article suggests regular reflection can help with that.
So like looking back at our experiences, good and bad, and learning from them.
Yeah, asking yourself, what went well today? What were the challenges? How did I handle them? What can I do differently next time? It's about turning your experiences into like data points. Helps
Mm.
you grow, become more resilient.
Interesting. Turning our experiences into data takes the emotion out of it. We're like scientists studying our own lives.
Exactly. The article also talks about goals. Setting meaningful goals gives you a sense of purpose, direction, antidote to negativity.
Because if you're working towards something you care about, you're less likely to get stuck in those negative thought loops.
Right. And it's got to be something that truly matters to you. The article says to focus on goals that align with your values, your passions, the things that light you up.
Finding that sweet spot where your talents and passions meet. The journey's more enjoyable when you're doing something you truly love, even with the bumps along the way.
You're so right.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of your environment. Surround yourself with positivity.
Oh yeah, negativity's contagious, but so is positivity. If you're around people who are always complaining, it's going to affect you. But if you're with people who are uplifting, encouraging, that energy rubs off too.
It's like choosing your fuel. And remember, it's not about ignoring the bad stuff. It's about choosing to focus on the good, the possibilities, creating an environment that supports you.
Okay, so we've got self-care, reflection, goals, surrounding ourselves with good vibes. Anything else for our positivity toolkit?
One more thing, the article really stresses consistency. It's not a one-time thing, it's an ongoing practice.
Like working out. You can't just go to the gym once and expect to be in shape.
Exactly. Same with building a positive mindset. The more you practice those negativity bustive techniques, the positivity building habits, the more natural they become. It's a lifestyle.
So it's about making these things part of our daily lives, not just something we do once in a while.
Yes. Little by little, those positive changes add up. You start to see the world differently, and that's when things really start to shift.
This has been such a great deep dive. Really makes you think. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty inspired to put all this into practice. Watch those positivity muscles grow.
Me too. It's a good reminder that we have more control than we think. Negativity is part of life, but we get to choose how we respond to it.
That's such a powerful takeaway. So listeners, remember, you have the power to choose your thoughts. And in doing so, you shape your reality. It's not always easy, but with practice, you can train your brain to be more positive, more resilient. You can create a life you love.
Beautifully said. And when those negative thoughts do creep in, because they will, remember what we talked about. Challenge them, reframe them,
Yeah.
practice mindfulness, and reach out for support if you need it. You've got this.
Absolutely. This has been an amazing conversation. Until next time, deep divers, keep exploring.